overnight, I guess Tuesday night it is, so we're filming here on Wednesday. It came to light that 2 Hawthorn players were arrested during an off-season US trip.
Not the two maybe half of the ones I'd expect. If you said 2 Hawthorn players, I'd be like,
Well, could you guess
Nick
who?
Watson.
No, he's a good boy.
Well, no.
Jack Ginnivan. I actually don't know who I
This is
genuinely
fun.
didn't know anything about this story.
And
know
Did this break last night?
it broke last night, but it happened 3-4 months ago, so I believe end of October, November. So in the off-season of players, and it kind of explains an interesting piece of knowledge where Hawthorn chose their leadership group. So it kind of now all ties in together. So Dylan Moore and Connor McDonald were found trespassing and jumping on a scissor lift in the US in the off-season. They were inebriated and obviously kind of taken into custody by the cops, spent a night in jail. And I guess partly that was the reason, yes. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
In any of the reports, have they noted how funny this whole situation is? No.
I don't think it's a laughing matter for Hawthorn.
Okay.
I think they actually try to keep it under wraps because clearly 3-4 months later down
Yeah.
the track, they're actually unveiling it and telling their side of the story. So
Wow.
I think they try to keep it under wraps. I believe both have undergone financial sanctions, education and community service. But now obviously the wider football community has learnt of it.
Yeah.
And will
Classic
make their
AFL
own assertions. But that was actually probably the main reason that why Dylan Moore was actually stripped of his vice captaincy. So we know that Jai Newcomb joined James Sicily as the co-captain of the Hawks, but Dylan Moore, who was previously in that leadership group, is now not.
Okay.
Question?
I have a question. Is part of the education how to operate a scissor lift safely? Is it like an OH&S education session? What's in the education?
I'm very confident in saying it's not how to operate a scissor lift.
Yeah. If you're going to do it drunk, this is how you do it.
I think it's definitely revolving around use of alcohol and just, I guess, operating
Yeah.
in society with a decent manner, which
Right.
clearly they were found not to in their trip overseas. So
I feel like you wouldn't get arrested for that in Australia.
The
Well,
scissor lift thing.
Yeah.
could
Nah,
be applauded.
the cop would just be like, come on, mate, get
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
You're Connor McDonald. Go on.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Telling them you're a footballer probably doesn't get you out of things over there.
He probably tried to tell the cop that he was a famous footballer
Play for
and then
Hawthorn.
showed a clip. It was like, this is AI. What is this sport? It's not a real sport.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Anyway.
It's kind of funny.
Okay.
but a bit of newsy stuff.
Yeah.
So
going on.
that all broke. Like, so nobody knew about that until last night.
Well,
Well,
I assume Mitch Cleary knew about it because it broke on 7 News, but he did a sit down with Dylan Moore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those like payoff ones like, hey, I know this has happened. I can either just blurt it out on X and everyone knows about it, or you can get Dylan Moore to confess to everything. And it looks like Hawthorn's being real. They were transparent about it all.
Only 4 months later.
And then they also were able to like kind of dismiss the drug paraphernalia rumors.
Yeah.
Because there was a charge about drug paraphernalia, but then he was able
That
to
were dropped.
dismiss it then and there. So
Okay.
they kind of got ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like works out well for Mitch Cleary in 7. It works out well for the Hawks as best it can. But yeah, I wonder how long like they'd been sitting on it for.
Yeah. So they did a little deal.
It happens heaps.
Yeah.
Heaps of time. Jack Ginnivan did it when
He got caught.
he got caught at Collingwood a few years ago.
Yeah.
Same thing. Spoke to Channel 7 to
That's
reveal it.
interesting.
And then obviously it all just kind of comes out at once.
Yeah.
Usually the Hawks are good with how they operate with this kind of stuff because like when they did the Oscar Allen stuff and that all got leaked, like they had a buy. So there was just like a big grenade out there that Oscar Allen had to deal with, and Sam Mitchell didn't have to talk to anyone about it for 2 weeks. So funnily enough, he did his presser today though, so they didn't give as much of a turnaround, but I think they had Rob McCartney front up as well, makes Sam Mitchell's job a little bit easier when he has to speak to the media. So.
Right. So that's interesting then that they choose to release it like when footy's at its like there's heaps of eyeballs on the sport. So like surely like if you were sitting on it, you'd want to, if you're Hawthorn, maybe you could be like part of the deal. If I was Hawthorn, I'd be like, let's do this all in the preseason before.
Maybe.
Well,
But
then
then
it
you-
depends.
then-
Like if Mitch and Channel 7 know, who's next to know?
Yeah,
And then
right.
Yeah.
once it's out of their hands
And
in some capacity, you
That's
don't know
fair.
how it's going to be presented. So at least if they go, this person knows, they're going to report it, as Mitch said, jump on
Yeah.
the front foot. Mitch Keating, not Cleary.
yeah,
jumped on the front foot and they got ahead of it.
I'll
that's
say
Sorry, yeah, you go.
I'll say this, and the preseason thing that you said, just drop it while no footy is on.
Yep.
Like you look at the Lockie Neal story that dropped on Jan 2,
Yep.
and it just ran for like 3 weeks because no one had anything else to talk about. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what could have happened. It's probably not as layered as the Lachie Neale Brisbane stuff, but there's probably more eyeballs when nothing else is happening than when people are so distracted they move on to the next thing pretty quick.
And
That
I think
makes sense.
just a quick thought then. The week that they've dropped it, if it was intentional, was the Essendon game. Obviously, the hype around that, Zach Merritt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And half of the questions that Mitchell faced, admittedly, that Rob McCartney actually spoke prior to him about the arrests of Moore and McDonald, was about Zach Merritt and how they'd treat him, would they go after him again? And so it already kind of turned that narrative quickly into Friday night's game and about that. So if it was intentional, there could be a little bit of scope to think that it could kind of get muddled into
Not at all.
the controversy. And I think the powers that be at Dingley would definitely consider that.
So, okay. So for me now, I have to change my tune on Sam Mitchell because before all this, I thought that Sam Mitchell was a genius, but now he uses ChatGPT to talk to his players and he's mad at the negotiating table because he couldn't get this story broken by Mitch Cleary during the off season where there's less eyeballs on it all.
And more,
or it's
like I
easier.
said, I think there's been more
And he couldn't
eyeballs.
get Merritt over the line.
So sack him.
So, no, I'm just saying.
A coach who just took his team to a prelim.
Maybe don't ask ChatGPT.
Maybe he was getting ChatGPT to do his negotiation.
I wonder
Yeah.
what he'll put into chat regarding this saga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
How to
How
deal
to
with
how to
the rest
operate
of-
a scissor lift, and how to teach my players how to operate a scissor lift.